Hey there, my friend. Let me ask you this question. Are you feeling empty on the inside? Do you feel like your life just isn't full of passion and joy, and it's like you're going through it, but you are not really invested or interested in it? Because if this is the case, or if you found yourself stuck in the states of apathy, well, in this video, we'll discuss about how covert avoidance, which is like a psychological symptom, can make your life feel empty. So, first of all, I'll share with you what covert avoidance is. Then I'll share with you my story of how I was like that. I was living like that for years in my life, and then how you can get over it, how you can actually reconnect to yourself, to your passion, to this aliveness within yourself, so that you can start caring for your life the way you most probably care for the lives of others. That being the case, let's directly get into the video and explore this topic. So what is covert avoidance? What does it mean ultimately? Like in essence, what is it? Well, covert avoidance, my friend, you can imagine it as like the attitude of unconsciously avoiding the passion and joy in your life. The passion and joy you could feel in your everyday um, occurrences, like in your everyday circumstances, in your connection with others. Avoiding to feel that passion and joy because of unhealed childhood trauma and the belief that what's the point? It's all pointless. Why would I even try to do my best to enjoy my life? Like, what would I? What to whom does it matter, right? Because most people who are like covert avoidance, like we believe that life isn't fair, life is meaningless, and the suffering and pain of it at the end it will overwhelm all the positivity, all the like effort we do to feel good and like to enjoy our life and to feel passionate and joyful about it. So if at the end suffering would win, why would I even take it seriously? Why would I even take life seriously? And so here are other things you'll notice within yourself if you're struggling with covert avoidance. And it's covert because like this is not the same as being avoidant attachment style in your relationships life. It's not the same because when you're just an avoidant person, this is obvious to others. But when you're a covert avoidant in life, this is not as obvious and noticeable to others. Because on the surface, you might have a smile on your face, you might look happy, you might interact with the people with whom you have to interact. But on the inside, part of you feels empty. You're just not here for yourself. Like this relationship with yourself that you have inevitably, it's not developed. You haven't fully accepted it. So it's like you're going through life and you're living life because you have to survive, not because you're willing to explore it, which is like a huge difference. And so maybe like some of the symptoms you might notice is that you don't want to look for purpose or any deep emotional connection with others, because what's the point if I'll be hurt again, right? Because if I haven't healed my childhood traumas, and if I have the because I haven't healed them, I am afraid that they would happen again in the future. Why would I even do the effort to connect with others or to look for my passion and purpose when at the end I'll be disappointed? And so you go through life not taking it seriously, like not living fully. Or it literally feels like you're being too busy or tired all the time to do the things that make you care for yourself. So it's like you're going through life. You might be doing your job. You might be like living with your family, taking care of your children. But you're being too tired to take care of yourself, of your own passions and of your own needs. And so it's like you might be doing everything for others and be and wearing this happy mask in front of your face so that you don't hurt others, but on the inside you feel empty. These are some of the signs and some of the symptoms you notice when you're struggling with covert avoidance. It's basically the fact that part of you is avoiding living your life to the fullest. And let me share a story with you, my friend. So I was like a couple of years back, like three, 4 years back. Yeah, 4 years back, I was in a place in my life where I was going to a job, to a sales job, in which I was doing sales because I wanted to like go go to heal my fear of rejection, and like by doing sales, it was the perfect circumstance to do that. But eventually that became boring, and I was also like doing freelance, and eventually I found myself in a situation in which I just lost my direction in life, and so I was just doing enough work to sustain myself, to survive. And I was earning enough money to survive, but I didn't feel passionate to be connected with my friends, to spend time with them, because our relationships were really really surface like. All of my friends were wearing masks, and like nobody was genuine and honest, and I didn't like that. I didn't have the courage to admit that to myself, and that's why I preferred just to stay with myself. And when I was in company with others, don't take too much space, like do not become obvious to others, do not like try to in a way run away, try to not show myself. And in my work, I was doing something that I didn't really like I was doing freelance marketing back then, like Facebook ads, and I did that, and copywriting also, and I did that not because I really liked it, but because I was able to earn enough money to survive, and by surviving, I was able to like go within myself and just stay isolated and lonely. And I was going through life like that for months. In Wow, eventually at one day I just woke up, and I was like, looked through the window, saw the sun outside shining, and on the inside I was feeling so dark and so empty that I was like, why would I even wake up? And so I went to the other side in my bed, just curled up in a ball, and then started to imagine that I knew exactly how my day would go, and it would go the same way it went yesterday and the day before yesterday, and weeks were passing like that when I was just doing the minimum amount of work, not being social at all. And so I knew everything that would happen to me in that day. And so I was like, it just doesn't make sense. Why would I even wake up? It's like, what's the point? I was so in such a deep state of apathy back then that I was like, I could just die here and it would be okay. Nobody would miss me. Nobody would care. So what's the point? I wasn't choosing myself. I wasn't living for myself. I wasn't even living. I was just surviving. And so this is what we do, like doing just enough. When we are in the state of chronic avoidance, covert avoidance, it's covert because socially we might appear happy to others, and others might not recognize the state we find ourselves in. We are hiding it, but on the inside we feel empty. And I was doing just enough to survive, but not enough to enjoy my life. I wasn't courageous enough to admit to myself what I didn't like and what I would want to change. And if I would continue living, because I was starting to contemplate suicide at this stage in my life, and if I were to continue living, I didn't want to admit to myself what would be the reasons I would want to live for. And now, if you want to understand how to go above that state, like how to transcend that state and how to heal from covert avoidance, well, the first thing you need to do, my friend, and this is actually how this story ended, the first thing you need to do is to be really honest with yourself about your current circumstances and the consequences of not making the choice to change. Change what? Well, change nothing at first, but at least be courageous enough to admit to yourself what you don't like about your current circumstances. And if you were to live, because you're alive either way, if you were to live, what is worthy to be living for, to live for? What makes life worth it? And so this is actually what happened. I was curled up in my bed, like stayed there for 1 hour, imagining how this day would go, and tomorrow I would wake up and the same thing would happen, the same apathetic day would go, and this was already going on for months. And so at this stage, I was crying out. I was thinking to myself, what's the fucking point? I could just give up and nobody would care. I wouldn't care. I could die here and nobody would care. And it wouldn't matter to anybody. And so eventually by accepting that state of deep apathy, eventually I reached the state of surrender. In which state of surrender, one question remained in my mind, which was, okay, if I were to continue living, why? What makes life worth it? Why would I do it? What is it that I deeply, genuinely, honestly value in my life and appreciate and want to be an example of? And so by asking myself this question, it stayed within my mind. Eventually got up full of energy, actually. It was as paradoxical as it sounds. I went from deep state of apathy, going through a deep surrender, and then being really energized by asking myself this question. And so I went to my desk, like, I took a piece of paper and I just started writing the answers to that question. What makes life worth it? If I were to continue living, why would I live? And so this was the first time in my life in which I was able to genuinely connect with my boundaries. Not boundaries, but with my, sorry, with my values. And so I understood that I value deep emotional connection in my relationships, and I started appreciating that and like trying to develop emotional connection with the friends around me. I valued I value transparency in my relationship, being fully transparent with my feelings with others. And so eventually I started helping people do that, build emotional intelligence within themselves to become transparent with others and to value the depth of emotional intimacy and connection in their relationships. And so by doing this for the first time, connecting with my values, I gave direction to my life. It was the first time I started caring for what I wanted actually from life. And since then, the next 3 years, the way they unfolded, it's like, well, now I'm feeling more and more passionate with every single day and more joyful. And this is what it takes, my friend. It takes for you to be really honest about your current circumstances and the consequences of not choosing to change. Just the way I was contemplating in my bed. Like if nothing happens, well, every single day would pass the same time that the rest of the last 2 or 3 months of my life were passing, which I didn't like. And so if I don't make the decision to do something different about it, it's like I'd better die right now, right? So because it was pointless. It was absolutely pointless to continue on living and struggling. This is the first thing you need to be really honest and genuine about your current circumstances and the consequences of not changing. The second thing you want to do is to start healing your past memories that made you feel hurt. Which maybe is a topic, if you want to go deep in that topic, it's a topic for another video. But ultimately what that means is to just accept the fact that there were some really painful emotions that you felt thanks to experiences in the past you have had that you haven't fully accepted and integrated and experienced. And so part of your personality remains stuck in those memories in the past. That's why the second thing you want to try to do is to actually allow yourself, whenever a painful memory of the past comes, give yourself the opportunity to suffer. I know this sounds paradoxical, but when you allow yourself to suffer from the painful emotions of the past, now you're not afraid that they will repeat themselves in the future. And so you become present to the moment, allowing yourself to understand what is it that you really value. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that makes you feel joyful? And this only happens by because if you again struggle with chronic avoidance with covert and you're a covert avoidant, the only way you can heal after you make that decision is to actually go through the painful experiences of the past, re-experience them again, accepting them fully. And by accepting the painful emotions, letting them go, you can recontextualize the meaning of that event, and you'll find that the worst memories you have, the most painful experiences from your past, the childhood traumas you've had, when you accept them fully and experience them fully, they will automatically be recontextualized in your mind to actually give meaning to your life for what you'll be doing in the future. So this is the second thing you want to commit to. And if you need help with that, by the way, you can always schedule a call with me and talk one-on-one personally about your situation and how you can apply this specifically in your life by going through the free training I have below, in which you understand what are the three phases you pass through until you surround yourself by only conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships, by people who support and lift you up. Because I promise you, my friend, when you actually surround yourself by people who genuinely care for you, you don't have the chance to get into this state of deep apathy again, this chronic avoidance, because they'll keep you up, they'll support you, they'll care for you. And when you're a chronic avoidant, like another symptom is that, well, you don't really have a lot of people who you can rely on, because you have learned that you're responsible for yourself. And like, if everybody leaves at the end, why would you even try to develop emotional connection with people when they will leave at the end? This is now also connected to the avoidant attachment style. And like the last thing you can try to heal fully is to actually become social and vulnerable again. Meaning that it is okay for you to share your painful experiences, my friend. There are people who actually care and who would be there for you and who would listen and who would support you through them. So it's okay to be social and to allow yourself to talk about your painful past with others, because this is the way you are giving them the opportunity to connect to you emotionally and actually build a emotionally intimate relationship together, in which you could support each other. And if there is somebody you could care for and you know that they're caring for you, this instantly gives meaning to your life, my friend. So these are some of the things you can try to heal from this chronic avoidance, if this is what you're struggling with in your life. And so I highly suggest you give this a try. And if you need help with that, definitely check out the training below, the three phases you pass through until you surround yourself only with conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships. And after going through a training, you can schedule your free discovery session in which we can talk specifically about your situation, and like we can create a strategy plan of what is it that you can do at this stage of your life to heal that chronic avoidance. That being the case, my friend, I want to thank you so much for staying with me until the end of the video. I really trust you found it to be helpful. If this is the case, like it, comment down below. Let me know what is your experience. Let me know if you relate with that topic. If you want me to do more videos similar to that, like explaining psychological disorders and how you can go through them and heal them. And I would highly support this. I would highly appreciate this. And also, if you're new to the channel, to the Soulful Relationships channel, subscribe to it, because, well, my intention with this channel is to produce content that will help you experience the best relationships in your life. So if this is something you find valuable, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to see you around. Thank you so much for watching, my friend. Have a nice day for now. I love you, and see you around in the next video. Bye bye. Enjoy.